Welcome back to Tasman Travels. We're Tom and George and we travel full time in our Sprinter around New Zealand. In this video we're answering all your burning questions and giving you our truth on van life. Good morning from a very wet and rainy Lake Wakatipu.
And welcome back to an episode of Tasman Travels. We are back in New Zealand.
Yeah, we've been out of the country for over a month. We went to Vietnam on our honeymoon. We went from the south of Vietnam all the way to the north, staying in about 8 different places, and we absolutely loved it. So we get asked all the time about our lifestyle, and a while ago we put out there to send us some questions. Sorry it's taken so long to do this episode, but this is our Q&A episode.
Yes, it is. Been over the questions briefly. We started collating them. If we've missed your name off, sorry. Some of the questions are really easy, really simple. Some of them are really big questions. Some of them are quite complicated questions, but we will do our best to get through them as quickly and efficiently as possible.
First things first, we want to give a big shout out to Oliver over in WA.
Absolute legend. Hello, thanks for watching. And hey Zoe, hey Sarah, hey Joe, we miss you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it.
So the first one is, why did you choose van life?
That's a big question.
Yeah, very big.
So 6-7 years ago, Tommy and I were living in England. Tommy was working for the police, which he really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I was working in property which I absolutely loved. Tommy was working like 12-hour days. I was working like 12 days straight. We had a lovely house, nice cars, nice holidays, but we weren't really seeing each other, were we?
No.
One of our holidays was a big trip of a lifetime over to Australia. We fell in love with the place, got back to England and was like, right,
what next?
What next? Year or two maybe later, we sold everything, moved over to Australia, ended up getting a van, our first van called Muriel, ended up touring.
We toured for 2 years all around Australia. We did the whole loop and up the middle.
Yeah. And just fell in love with the lifestyle, and
yeah,
here we are.
So we got to New Zealand just before the COVID lockdown hit. So as soon as we got here, we bought a van. And we were kind of stuck here anyway.
We fell in love with the freedom. We have next to no bills, and we can go where we want. We can work where we want. We see some amazing places.
We don't really know where we would settle anyway, so it gives you that freedom to explore. You don't have to be tied down to one place.
From Gareth, why did you choose Toyo all-terrain tyres for your van? And then question from Rob, can you tell me the details of your all-terrain tyres? Going to change these as well, but keep getting different advice from different people.
So Geordie actually has always wanted to get all-terrain tyres to enable us to go more off the beaten track places. We did actually once slightly steer off the road when it was really muddy, and that sort of scared us a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it was Spirits Bay in the far north.
Yeah, that sort of kicked me into gear about researching. I did loads and loads of research, and we eventually came up with these Toyo all-terrain tyres. So these tyres are Toyo Open Country 2 all-terrain tyres. So they're actually about 5% bigger than our previous tyres.
And the road tyres.
The road tyres that we had previously. And that's the New Zealand legal limit as to how much you can actually increase them. Not only does it give us a lot more grip, but it actually gives us a bit more ground clearance as well, which is useful. These tyres come with a huge load rating, so it's more than enough for our vehicle. So we went to the guys in Bridgestone in Dargaville who fitted them. They were great, and since having them on we've had no issues at all. They've got amazing grip. We've not actually skidded or anything once. They're the perfect size. They don't rub at all.
We sway a lot less. If you've got a Sprinter, sometimes when you're going around corners you feel a bit of a sway, maybe because they're a wider footprint. We don't.
And we absolutely love them.
Yeah, it was all pointing towards Toyo, and we'll have Toyo again.
Yeah, definitely. So the next question is from Sudarshan. How long did you stay in Australia for?
I think in total it was 2.5-3 years, so that was 2 years full time. Left, came back, things like that. Had an absolute blast. We will be going back at some point. Question 8 from Chris, what do you eat while living in a camper van? Food.
Yeah, good question.
Oh.
So we've just got a 3-burner gas hob. and that's what we cook all of our meals on.
No oven. We took the microwave out and
we
sold it to a mate.
Yeah, we don't really miss the oven.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'd quite fancy lasagna, or you like baking.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
would be
there's the
nice.
odd thing you think of, oh, that'd be nice. So we eat a mainly plant-based diet. Jordan will eat more meat than I do, so we do mix it up. We really have a varied diet, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a very Asian influenced diet, I think. A lot of stir-fried boiled vegetables, tofu.
A lot of curries as well.
A lot of curries. We're still looking for the best curry in New Zealand, so if you know a place, let us know.
And if I do catch fish, which is not very often, then we'll have some fish that I've caught as well. So you can still eat really healthy on the road.
Absolutely.
So the next question is from Steve. Do you have family in New Zealand?
We do. Distant relatives who are now very close family, including Auntie Heather. We've got family around Christchurch area. A lot of our friends now, actually, that we've met, we consider family as well. So,
Yeah.
I'm not sure who this was from. Where to next? How long will you stay in a van touring? Where next? Fiordland or Bali?
Yeah, so we don't actually make many plans, do we? I mean, we always plan to do van life, don't we? There's no...
Oh yeah, we don't see any end.
We do have a plan to go back to Australia, like we said.
Yeah.
And we love Asia as well, so duck over to Asia.
Yeah. Question 11 from Dave. Which drone do you use and where did you learn to fly?
Yeah, so I did actually do a drone episode, and we'll put the link in. But we used the DJI Air 3. I've had all the different generations of Air, and I haven't really learnt to fly at all, just apart from teaching myself.
Really recommend DJI. That's what we started with. They're a bit more expensive, but they're just a really good bit of kit.
Yeah,
Bloody good.
but you do have to be very careful on the drone laws in New Zealand. There's a lot of places that you can't fly them.
But we'll put the link in to what we use. There's apps.
Why did you decide to go on YouTube, and how's it going? Are you enjoying it?
Why?
We've always sort of talked about it, hadn't we, in Australia, wanting to share our adventures.
And our family in the UK were like, oh, you should vlog this, you should get on YouTube. We looked at it, was like, we're actually quite private people, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We had so many insane adventures van touring in Australia.
2 weeks in Cooper PD Hospital would have made good content.
Yes, it would have. But at that time, we were just doing our own thing, sort of getting used to it. A couple of years in New Zealand, we took on a business up north. Once we finished that, we wanted to hit the road again. We had lots of encouragement again from our friends, and we were just like, let's do it.
Yeah, let's just give it a go. We've got nothing to lose. Like, we sort of wished that we had done it in Australia because of all the amazing places we went to.
At the beginning, we made a few rookie errors on YouTube, didn't we?
Oh yeah, it's been a big learning curve. We didn't have a clue really about how to film or how to do YouTube. So
yeah.
Just over a year now we've been doing it.
Yeah, and we're still learning. There is lots and lots and lots that goes into actual YouTube. And FYI, you don't make money on it. Not really at all, unless you've got hundreds of thousands of followers, which can take years to happen. Might not even happen. So don't think that YouTube is paying you loads of dollar.
Yeah, we are enjoying it. We do like it. And caveat to that would be that it takes up a lot of time. So a lot of your free time, when you possibly could be doing other things, you're finding yourself editing, and it does take hours and hours to do.
It really does. So what you see in 15-20 minutes has taken a lot of touring, a lot of walking, a lot of filming, a lot of drone flying, and then hours of editing. Editing is ridiculous. Like we said, it's not our job. We do it because we want to show you guys what we're doing and the places we go, so you get out and go there. But it's not the be all and end all. And we are getting more and more followers every week and subscribers. Yeah. And thank you so much. It does really mean a lot, and we love all your comments and your feedback.
Yeah, it really encourages us to keep on pushing out new videos.
Yeah.
And yeah, hi to all our new subscribers.
Hey! Hopefully we'll see you out there. So this is from our mates over in Australia, Mike and Sam, Great Aussie Odyssey. Hey, check them out. I'll put the link in. How did you find the transition from one country to NZ, so from Australia to New Zealand, I'm assuming? We'd love to do this in future travels, and which country will you be exploring next?
So I think Australia and New Zealand are actually quite similar in a lot of ways. Apart from the weather is the main thing.
Yeah, we found the transition really quite easy. The thing is, coming from the UK, moving to Aussie, there is definitely a culture shock, a culture change. And then coming from Australia to New Zealand, we do notice things that are different in cultures and how people act, or especially how people say certain things sometimes.
Yeah.
I think actually New Zealand's quite a bit stricter on things.
Oh yeah.
Like on freedom camping. You definitely feel like you're on an island, right? In an island nation.
It's a bit more close-knit than Australia.
Yeah.
And people can be a bit more...
Close-knit.
Yeah. It's easy.
Really
it's a
friendly.
really easy country to travel around.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Same as Australia.
Yeah, but a lot smaller, so quicker.
Yeah.
Not sure who this is from. How much does it cost to move a van between Australia and now New Zealand? Now with this, our friend Anja and her husband did this very, very recently from New Zealand to Australia. So I will find the information and I'll put some information either down below or in the comments.
So the next question is, where do you put all your stuff?
You mean all of our electric Pukeko hats?
And we just stuff it in anywhere, basically, don't we?
Every crevice, every hole is full. No, it's not really.
No.
We have a wardrobe that Tommy took out the hanging rail and put some shelves in. 2 sort of wardrobe thingies for our clothes. Food, we've got 3.5 overhead storage cupboard things. And then we've got a real deep cupboard under the sink.
Now we've done our bed build, which we'll put the link into. We've got a huge amount of storage under the bed. It's like
more than doubled that.
Tripled it, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll put the link in. So that holds tools, kayaks,
extra water,
extra cassette. Also, when you're living van life, you very quickly realise that you don't need an awful lot of stuff.
Yeah. Not only with space, but also with weight as well, because you don't want to be too heavy.
So there are actually laws involved with how heavy you can be, or rules.
Oh, so we can be up to 3.5 tonne, which I think we're just under that.
Yeah.
From Marcia, have you met any others living the van life with pets or young children, and how does their experience vary from yours?
The answer is yes, we have. In fact, a couple of our close friends are travelling full time in their caravan with a cat.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really hold them back at all. They enjoy it. That's a cat.
Yeah, I think a dog would be a bit different.
So I guess the thing with maybe children and pets, and no offence, but it could be quite restrictive, as in just being the 2 of us, we can go where we want, we can stay somewhere for as long as we want, we can go off into the bush for hours and hours and hours without having to think about leaving a dog or a kid back in the van. I don't know, it'd be interesting maybe to know from any of you guys who are doing full-time van life, who have pets and have kiddies, how you think your life varies from ours. We don't really know. Next question from Zoe, do you have many trolls and how do you deal with them?
I think we've had like 1 troll, and I think we just blocked them. You can block people if you need to. But I think, it's just been the 1. We've not really had any issues with that, have we? Really?
No. Question from Tony. We're over 6 foot tall. Would we fit in the sprinters like yours? Yes.
So we're 5'11".
And we have about that much above our head standing height.
The only issue would be is if you're sleeping east to west, then it might be too short for you.
Yeah, if you wanted to spread out. But the short answer is yes, you can fit in this van.
Yeah. So another question, and this one's from Cheryl. Do you guys do affiliate marketing, or have you rented your house to live on the road?
So we don't have a house to rent, so no.
No. We work part-time for an IT company, about 3 days a week, and we're lucky enough to be able to work on the road because we have Starlink as well, which really helps.
Yeah, you don't need to work full-time, we're lucky.
So we are brand ambassadors for a few companies and brands that we really do trust and enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been approached by a few different organisations or brands saying, oh, will you be brand ambassadors for us? And there's quite a few out there that when you look into it, it's not what it seems. Now, with the brands that we're with, and you'll find these all in our link tree, these are brands that, like Tommy said, we trust, we use, we really enjoy, and we have a fantastic relationship with all of them. All of the working relationships and ins and outs are all slightly different. It can either be really successful like it has with one of our brands, or it can be really, really slow like it has with a couple of our others. We got busy, it got dark, we're trying to be as light as possible with our DJI 4.
Yeah, we've got all the lights on, so hopefully it's not too blurry.
So, the next question, or questions, so this is from Shayna. Where is your most favourite spot in NZ so far? But then adventure with Bernie, so perhaps you can give 2 locations that you really loved and why. This is mega hard.
Got a few that stand out, so I would say Araki Mount Cook.
Abel Tasman National Park, Totaranui,
Amazing
definitely.
beaches there.
Yeah.
The whole west coast of the South Island is amazing.
Especially Reefton, we really loved Reefton.
Kaikoura we love.
Like Kaikoura,
The sea, the mountains, a bit of everything there.
Of course, Castle Point Beach in the Wairarapa.
Wairarapa, where we got married.
Yeah. In fact, the whole Wairarapa region is just stunning and vast.
Yeah, Nawi and down that Ocean Beach area.
Yeah, and when we did the Tongariro Alpine crossing, that area, that crossing, is in my opinion the best walk we've done in New Zealand.
All around Queenstown, not Queenstown itself, but the surrounds.
Lake Pukaki.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to live per week or month on average?
Oh,
No idea.
well, you've got your groceries like everyone has.
$150.
To $150, $200
Yeah.
New Zealand. Then you've got your gas bottle, which is like $40, but that's like once every month, once every 2 months.
Yeah. Fuel.
Fuel is a big one.
Now we use Kiwi fuel cards and McCowan fuel card. If you're not yet using these, get on it.
On one fill you can save like $10, $15 just
Yeah.
on a fill.
Yeah, and that's actually quite a lot of money when you fill up as much as we do. Matilda's actually really fuel efficient for a big vehicle, good engine, and we don't drive quickly.
The good thing about New Zealand is it doesn't take you long to get anywhere, so we don't actually use too much fuel, $300 a month, depending on how far we travel.
Yeah, so we don't pay for water, we don't pay for electricity, we don't pay for sewerage, obviously. We have our annual dock pass, which is what, $100 or $200 a year?
For the whole year.
And that's for the whole year. So if you're thinking of touring New Zealand, you haven't got one of these, get an annual dock campsite pass for the year, and 90%, if not more, of the dock campsites are then free for you to use all year round.
So I've just totted it up in my head. It should be around $1,000 a month, depending on how much we travel, and that's including food and everything.
Everything.
Yeah. So the next one is from Steve, and he's asking North or South Island, Australia or New Zealand?
Oh, they're big questions, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, North or South Island?
South Island.
Definitely.
Yeah.
South Island. Sorry, North Island.
The scenery is much better in our opinion, and there's less people.
Yeah.
The air's fresher.
Yeah.
Not as much traffic.
Yeah, there's just something about the South Islands, isn't there? We lived on the North Island for 3 years, and we went to some stunning places, and we do love it as well. But if we had to choose the South Island, it's got something in the air.
And then Australia or New Zealand?
Australia.
New Zealand.
Yeah, so this is where we differ.
Yeah, I prefer New Zealand because I don't like it too hot. You don't have to travel far to get anywhere. Like, everything is just around the corner. But I obviously still love Australia and want to go back. But if I had to choose...
Yeah, and for me, I do like the heat, and I do like how vast Australia is. The outback, the desert, and also the wildlife, you know. I always remember we go on bushwalks and you'd always see a wallaby or a possum, or if you're lucky, a snake, or...
Yeah, the wildlife here isn't quite as good, so that's...
Yeah, it's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
So absolutely adore New Zealand. We're here. But yeah, for me, Australia. So the next question's from our mates, P&S Adventures on the Road. We'll put a link in. Hi guys. And we actually spoke to them about this very recently. We had a big, deep conversation. What do you like most about van life? And it is...
Freedom.
Freedom. We get to wake up to $1 million views pretty much whenever we want. We're not tied down to a spot.
Yeah, we can just pick and choose. If we don't like somewhere or we're bored of it, we can just move on. And also, we find the whole life is less stressful, not as many bills.
Maureen, hi Maureen. When it's real grotty weather in winter, where would your fave place to stay in New Zealand be? We've stayed at Aoraki Mount Cook in winter when it was covered in snow, very few people there in our tiny weeny Hiace, using the gas hob for heat, and it was superb.
It was covered in snow, yeah.
Yeah. I think when it's really grotty, I wouldn't want to be in a town.
No.
I wouldn't want to be where not only the sky is grey, but the buildings are grey. I'd rather be in the bush.
As long as you've got some hard ground underneath you, because that can be a problem.
Yeah. Rose from Caravan the World, check them out. Would like to know how you got on Tiny Home Tours. Tiny Home Tours, if you haven't seen that episode, I'll put it in. They contacted us, they came over from the States and asked if they could feature us on their channel. Simple as.
Yeah.
Really, really lovely group. It was really cool.
Yeah, check out the episode. So the next one, I don't know who asked this, how do you keep the van smelling fresh? You just open up the doors?
Yeah, and so we do that pretty much every morning. We'll open the doors, and especially the air vents open all the time. Let fresh air in. Real simple. We always waft our bedding out, just like you do at home. Just open the windows.
We're lucky to have a lot of doors in this van. The back doors, the big sliding door, the two front doors. We just let it all air out frequently, especially because we're living in here full time. You do get some condensation, but as long as you air it out regularly.
What do you use to find your campsites, and do you self-camp? We use the app called Wikicamps New Zealand. However, it's gone real rubbish recently.
There's been some glitches on it.
Yeah.
We also use the NZMCA app,
which is for members,
which is very good.
Please, members, leave comments, update the app if something's wrong, and fill out that occupancy thing when you're there, because we do watch it. People do watch it.
There's also a few other apps. We don't really overly use them though. Campermate and...
Yeah, we don't use Campermate at all. Rankers is another one which is pretty good. Rankers New Zealand.
Oh, we don't stealth camp.
We don't, no. We used to when we was in Aussie, like especially in the cities, didn't we? We used to stealth camp.
Yeah, I mean we can do in this, which is great.
Yeah, but you don't need to in New Zealand.
No, there's campsites everywhere. So, I mean, how do you have privacy while living in a van?
It's a good question. So we have our Van Made Gear window shades. Those on top of our tinted windows completely block out anything from seeing in.
Because we've got a lot of windows in this van, but they're all covered up. It's completely blackout, so no one can see in. We've got a Van and Camp thermal blanket at the back of the doors, so we can open the rear doors as well, and no one can see anything in.
Yeah, and it's also we're rather mindful if we have to park somewhere straight in or what knows, or reverse in. We'll only do that if we can open the doors and there's nobody behind us. We'll really always try and park with our side door away from people, so if we want to have that open, people can't really see in. We
don't really have an issue with privacy. We can just completely lock ourselves in here and no one can see anything. So
yeah, and it's about other fellow campers or just people just being mindful when you're walking up to somebody's van. Don't just appear or don't just pop your head in the window or the door, because you might get a shock. And if the vans are rocking,
no,
don't come knocking. And how do you manage a relationship in a tiny space?
Like any relationship, you've got to communicate, you've got to have patience. We're lucky we've been together for 11 years, so we have already developed that.
Yeah, and we've been vanning it on and off for like 5-6 years, so we're kind of used to it.
Yeah, and you do get in each other's way a lot.
You do, and I'm a bit of a control freak, or OCD when it comes to trying to be tidy, aren't I? And so that can be a bit annoying sometimes.
We're kind of used to being around each other the 24/7 pretty much. So
So this is a question from Raywin. Hey Raywin. Strange question, but I'm curious how you store your vegetables while travelling. Not a strange question at all.
well, in winter it's quite easy. You can put them anywhere in the van because of how cold it is in New Zealand. Summer it's a bit more of a challenge. We've got a 110 litre fridge, which is where we try and put most of the veg and fruit.
Really good fridge, it's not let us down.
Yeah. Aside from that, we've got a fruit basket. Try and move it around to the coolest spot, which is normally like on the ground.
And also I do quite a bit of food prep. What I tend to do when we buy all the fruit and veg after a shop, I wash it all there and then, and let's say we buy a big massive stalks of celery. Once I've washed it, I'll cut it up there and then put it in Tupperware and shove it in the fridge.
Yeah, it's good to prep and cut it down in advance because then it's not taking up as much room.
Yeah.
So this is from Dale. Have you put a GPS tracker on your van yet, as you seem to get lost a lot of festivals?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And yes, we have. We have a tracker on the van linked to our phone, so we can always find it. How long can you stay off grid? So how much solar and all that do we have?
550 watts of solar, and we've got 316 amp hours of battery.
We can hold 95 litres of fresh water, but we also have a extra 20 litre tub, 95 litres of grey water, and we have 2 toilet cassettes.
Yeah. So we're actually lucky enough never to need to plug into mains. The solar's enough and the batteries are big enough. The only situation where we might be quite low is in winter, especially on the South Island where there's not a lot of sun for days, but all we can do is just turn on the engine and it puts a huge amount of power back into the battery. I guess the only limiting factor would be water. Like if we're staying somewhere for a week, the water would be the first thing to run out, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say on average about a week we can stay off grid in this.
Yeah.
And you can find out more about our actual setup on our website. We'll put the link. So the next question is from Vlad. What is the hardest part about living in a camper van? Well, even though we're fine in here and we've had smaller, it would be space every so often.
Yeah.
Get frustrated.
It's a small space,
Yeah.
and sometimes you won't remember where you've put something, or it'll be shoved somewhere different, or something's quite hard to get to.
Yeah.
You have to move a lot of stuff to get to something.
Or somebody will buy way too much food.
It would be nicer to have a bit more floor space.
Yeah, I mean, we can have our van discos in here. And I imagine this is the same for anybody who does a lot of touring or lives full time on the road. You're always in your mind thinking, oh, I could just do with that bit more space. Georgia, how do you make friends while living van life? It just sort of happens, you know, when you pull up somewhere and you think there's like-minded people and they might think you're like-minded. You get to chatting, friends we've made on the road. We've seen one place and then we've sort of bumped into them again, and then we've like exchanged numbers, and then we've made a point of, if we're close, we meet up and hang out.
Yeah, it is harder to make friends when you're moving around.
Yeah,
but it's definitely possible, and we've made some great friends.
Some amazing friends.
There's lots of people out there doing what we're doing, so
I imagine it's different for single folk or people on their own doing this.
Could be quite a lonely life if you don't socialise, especially in New Zealand with the weather. They seem to lock themselves in their vans more than in say Australia.
Yeah.
So everyone keeps to themselves just because of how cold it is.
Or the snob factor, NZMCA parks. Oh, they've got a slider. But what I would say, if you see us, and we've said this before, whether you're a couple, you're single, you've got a family, you've got pets, whatever, if you see us, you want to say hello, we're always keen to have a chat.
Yeah.
And say hey.
So the next one is, have you ever felt unsafe on the road? I think there's been 2 times.
In total, so this is including Australia and New Zealand.
Over 5 years or so.
There was a time on the North Island, we was at a freedom camp in Manawatu, I believe it was, and all of these bogans came down and started doing handbrake turns and blasting really terrible music. at all hours of the night.
There was nothing directed at us.
No,
we
no.
just didn't want to stay there.
No, and it wouldn't have been like a situation where you would have gone, look, guys, turn the music down.
You never would have approached them.
No, so we left.
The first time was in Australia.
When we were very new to doing the van.
And I think some local kids threw a couple of rocks at our van or something.
Yeah.
So we just drove off.
Shits.
And that's a good thing about this van. We can just get in the front and drive off.
And the van we had then.
Oh, yeah.
But all in all, New Zealand, touch wood, is an extremely safe place to travel. Follow the rules.
Yeah.
Be respectful, be mindful. Okay, so this is a good one. What are the top 3 gadgets you use on the road?
Well, one big thing which is amazing is our rear thermal screen from Van & Camp.
It's amazing.
It's blocks the whole outside from the inside. With the doors open, no one can see in.
Yeah.
It's thermal. There's a bug mesh on there. It keeps all your garage hidden.
Yeah.
And
the insulation, the privacy.
And then if you don't want to use it, you can just pull it down off the magnets.
But on that note as well, I don't know if it's a gadget, but our Van Made Gear window shades, we were the first in New Zealand to have these. A few of you guys who've seen them have bought them. They're amazing. They've completely changed the feel of our van and insulated it. And we'll put a link in and more details about that.
We love the shades. You can see this is one of them, or 3 of them. They're amazing. Completely black out anything.
Yeah, we used to have horrible curtains.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. My Ninja blender. What is
so
it?
It's a 12 volt portable blender.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a inverter, everything we use is 12 volts.
So that also includes, they might be interested to know, 2 Macs, drone, our phones, everything electrical, shaver, and this blender is on 12 volt. So yeah, the Ninja blender, definitely recommend it. However, I am currently looking for a juicer that runs on 12 volts, so a big juicer. So if anybody knows any at all, because I can't find one, let me know please in the comments below.
And probably the last thing that I have to put in there is our smart battery monitor. There's different brands you can get, but we've got a Voltronic one. Rather than just measuring the volts, having a voltmeter, this has like a smart shunt connected to the battery, which actually measures everything going through it. So you can see what percentage your battery is at. You can see how many amps you're drawing, how many amps you're bringing in. It's just a really accurate way of telling what percentage your battery is at. Otherwise, it's kind of like guesswork. So we've got a question from Jesse. How is Starlink going? So it's going really well. We absolutely love it, especially working on the road. There's a lot of places where we need signal and we've not really had any issues with it at all.
No, and if you don't know, you pay monthly for Starlink, you can actually pause it. So for example, when we was in Vietnam, we just paused it and we didn't pay, and then just reset it up when we needed it when we was back.
Yeah.
So the last 2 questions. Yes, Lynette. Hi, Lynette and Gary. We are aware that shark teeth can puncture our inflatable kayak. Thank you. And Zoe, back in the UK. Yes, we do miss you.
We miss you. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We hope we've answered all your questions. Reach out if you have any more. Click that like and subscribe button, and we hope to see you out there.